Collector will not be entered in the Kentucky Derby.
No, he grabbed himself yesterday morning training, and it was still very sensitive this morning. When I took my thumbs to palpate the bulbs of his heels, you could tell that it was still pinching him, and I had to make a choice, and uh, first and foremost, taking care of that has to come first. Your horse has to always come first, and to run in a race of this caliber and to try to compete at this level against the best 3-year-olds in the country, you got to be 110%. And to me, it just it wouldn't have been fair to Art Collector to lead him over there, knowing that there was, even though it's slight, knowing that there's an issue of any kind. And I had a meeting yesterday afternoon with my veterinarians, Foster Northrop, Rick Costell, had my blacksmith there. We discussed some different situations or scenarios. We maybe could have put a bar shoe on him and stabilized it, and he would have been fine. We maybe could have, obviously you can give him a little anti-inflammatory before the race, but again, when you're going to the Kentucky Derby, and as a trainer, first and foremost, the horse is my responsibility, and I just don't think that's just not fair to him, and he's been too good to us, and we're going to make sure he's taken care of first.
What will you be doing to treat this? Like you said, it's just a minor.
Oh,
and for the layperson, describe when they grab themselves.
Well, they just come up with their back foot and they grab the bulb of their heel. And as a person, if you can imagine just having a little scrape on the back of your heel and then walking around on it, when it first happens, it's going to be very sensitive, and nothing's going to be broken, but you're going to walk a little gingerly on it, and it's going to be sensitive to the touch. And that's exactly what Art Collector's dealing with right now. I made the decision this morning that I felt like that thing was still sensitive. I wanted to get some anti-inflammatories in him and make him comfortable and make it not hurt him. To do that, we had to miss the Kentucky Derby, and we chose to. Obviously, I spoke with Bruce at great length and my veterinarians, and we chose to do right by our horse. That has to come first and foremost.
I think a lot of people don't realize how strict the medication is, and was that a component that you can't maybe treat him the way you wanted to this close to the race?
Well, you would have loved to have been able to, had I been able to give him a little anti-inflammatory today and take the sting out of it, then he may or may not have been okay on Saturday, but that wasn't an option. And I certainly respect the rules that are in place, and we're always going to do, we're going to abide by them. But the main thing for me was we needed to make this horse comfortable. He needed to be treated this morning, and again, I just can't stress enough that Art Collector's well-being that's the primary concern. It's not getting to the Derby any other way would be nothing more than my ego taking over, and we can't allow that to happen. This is this is about him, not us.
How will you treat that now? Will you tub it, Epsom salt?
Really, there's not oddly enough, there's really not a whole lot to do. We'll keep his foot wrapped, and I'm guessing, now that he's got a little anti-inflammatory in him, he's probably going to walk off the van 100% sound, and that's going to be what we're looking for. Normally these things, they can kind of sting them for a couple of days, and like any other cut or scrape that you've got on your body, it irritates the heck out of you when it first happens, and then after a day or two, you don't know it's there, and I'm sure that he's going to be the same way. So, the thing that's given me comfort is, this is something that we can deal with. We're gonna, Art Collector's going to be back, and we're going to live to fight another day. It's just not going to be this Saturday.
How much training do you think he'll miss?
I don't think he's going to miss much at all. I normally with these things, horses don't miss a lot because they're really not that big a deal. Just the timing of it. That's really the thing that got us, was it just happened at a kind of a bad time. So I don't foresee this being anything major. It's something that we deal with horses on a regular basis, and it's not something that it's not like it's something we've never seen before. We've got a plan in place, and we know how we're going to go after it. And I would expect, by the weekend he'll probably be back to his old self and here training at Skylight every day.
And the plan includes now pointing towards the Preakness Stakes.
Yeah, I mean, why wouldn't you? He's, I still think he's one of the best 3-year-olds in the country. I think he deserves his opportunity to compete at that level. And, this car doesn't have a rear view mirror. We're gonna keep looking forward, and we know that this is something that we can address and put behind us, and we're gonna be fine.
How disappointing. Put it in perspective. I mean, it was this amazing, magical ride that was happening, and then reality sets in.
It still is an amazing, magical ride. I mean, this is a bump in the road, and I would have loved to have ran a horse in the Kentucky Derby, but that being said, my job is to take care of Art Collector and to make sure, I have to be his voice, and I have to make sure that every detail with him is taken care of. And again, I can't stress it. We're going to be able to move forward from this. This isn't something it's not going to be even a major setback. It's just a bump in the road. So, yeah, I mean, I'm disappointed that we don't run in the Derby, but I'm so thrilled that it wasn't something else that might have hindered his entire career. So, if you're going to have to deal with something, this is pretty minor in the grand scheme of things.
Is part of it too? You think the Derby wasn't even supposed to be this week, and he couldn't have been in it. So it's like, very disappointing, but you were given something that you didn't know you were going to have, and then now you still had the Preakness, though.
Right. And I, as a trainer, though, I've been doing this long enough. I know all the things that can go wrong with racehorses leading up to races, and I've tried to really be realistic and remind myself of that all along. And up to this point, we've had the dream trip. Everything's gone perfect, and unfortunately this week we hit a bump in the road, and we're going to have to kind of regroup a little bit. But I think just doing this for so long, I think you learn to toughen up a little bit, and you learn to you focus on issues as they come to you, and you put them behind you, and you always want to be looking forward and what the future might bring. And as far as I'm concerned, the first thing I told my assistant, Jose Garcia, when I got to the farm this morning is, have you ever been to Baltimore? And that's what we're focusing on right now. So, our horse is going to be fine, and we just hit a bump in the road. Physically, he would have been fine probably to go over there and run, but you can't go to the Kentucky Derby with probably. You just can't do that. It's you have to be 110% when you run in a race like that, and we're just not going to take that chance.
It's the left hind. Is that the
left front?
Was that hard to make that call to Bruce?
Yeah, it was, because he and Eleanor have they've just been so kind to us throughout this whole ride, and supportive. And Bruce calls me every morning and says, hey, are you enjoying this? It's kind of gotten to be a joke with us, because he knows that, I'm high-strung and I'm nervous, and, I worry about everything. And just as a joke, he'll call me every morning and say, hey, have fun. And, yeah, to have to make that phone call, it was pretty tough. It's been a tough 24 hours for all of us, but we're all in this business, and we know these things can happen, and that's how you have to look at it. You just have to keep looking forward and focus on what's going to happen in the future. So, we're after today, the Kentucky Derby is going to be put behind us and onto the Preakness. I think he missed his grass, Jenny.
Tommy, when you see him like this, what do you
Well, I
think?
knew I knew, you know, after we gave him a little anti-inflammatory this morning, he'd be perfectly sound. You know, that's not surprising at all, and that's what we wanted to see. You know, we wanted to see it, you know, him respond well to it, and looks like that's what's happened. So, on to Baltimore.